This is where we stop. We're able to add validation to our form using search. So search is a validation library, and it's called with typing when you're dealing with TypeScript or we're dealing with JavaScript. So we don't need that part. The only thing we just need from it is the validation there. And it's define a validation by using schema. So you need to give it the structure of the data you're expecting and what are the types of the value that you want this thing to return back to you. For example, here we have this our form, we have the card holder name, we have the number, expiry date, and the CVC. And we know that some of these things they have the format that they follow. So, and we want the user to follow that format. But it's not everybody. Even though you don't like, even though you expect people to put three number, that doesn't mean a lot of people will follow that same pattern there. So you need to let them know, even if it's a mistake, you need to let them know that oh, what you are putting here, oh, that's not what I want. So here you should only put three number. It can't be letter, it have to be number. And it must be three, it can't be less, and it can't be more than that, and so forth like that. So you can use sort to define the schema of each one of the form control that we have here. But how do we now connect it to our form? We're using the React hook form, and the React hook form here actually supports all this validation library, and it uses this resolver here because it's the one that will transform everything you have here and match it with whatever the form that you have there. So the same name that you're using here have to be the same name that your form is using. So this is card holder name, and that's the same name we are using for the schema. So by the time it's get here, it's checking it, it will cross-check based on the name that you set in this object here. And whatever validation you put there, it will make sure that it matches the stuff, which is what we have on this screen here. As you can see, whatever message we put here, that's what is going to show on the screen. And that's the job of this resolver here. So which is this sort resolver, is the one that will cross-check all the value you've typed from your form against that validation. If there's any, it will send a message down to the form state errors. And if there is no error, then you don't see anything, which is what we did down here by creating this p tag, and inside it we display the error. If it is there, if it's not there, then nothing will come out on the screen. For example, if there's something here, since there is no error with this one again, that box is going to disappear because uh the resolver is checking as you are changing the value, it will check whether that value is okay or not. If it is okay, then the error will disappear. But if it's not okay, then you'll see the error because we put the mode as unchanged. So which means when you modify any of the value, it will run the validation again against the value. And that's the reason why you see that it shows when you type or it remove when you change the value to another thing. You don't need to come to submit button to trigger the stuff. But you can change different mode. We have different mode that you can use. But I think I prefer this unchanged. As you're changing the value, it will keep telling you that this is what you need to do on that. As you can see, all whether you are here or whether it is on blur or change or when you submit or when you touch it, it will always bring out the validation. For example, here now, if I reload the page, so let's reload so that it starts from scratch there. That we've not touched it at all. So here now, if I click on this input, then leave the stuff, as you can see, it's not showing anything because the only time it will run the validation is when we change it. If you just enter and you leave, it doesn't care. It will not do anything since you've not changed the stuff. But if you want the thing to run for all of them, you can just use all here. So this one, I mean, whether you submit the form or you enter it and you now leave, or you change it, it will always run the validator there. So it all depends on which mode that you want to use. So now, if this thing is saved, so click on it and go outside. You're supposed to run validator on the stuff. Let me reload. Because all is supposed to run it when you blow or when you, yeah. So as you can see now, so after you touch and you leave, even if not type, it will still run the validator like that. So, but if you want that, or when they submit that, it's going to run validator, you can do it like that. But I think this one is okay. because it will run for all of them. Whether you submit or you enter or you change something, it will always run. So if you change, it will run the validator. So like that. So this is how this thing works. But there's a problem that we faced last time because here now we are typing number and we said this thing should be how many number? It should be 16. But so let me type 16 number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But this thing is telling us that we are supplying wrong format. And the reason it's like that is, no, I told you, whatever you type on this page is a string. Whatever you are getting back from your input is string, even though you are typing number. Don't forget this one from JavaScript perspective, this is number, but this is string. Even to you, is two, but to the system, they are not the same. This is number, while this one is a string. So here now, all this thing that we type here, this is how it's getting into the validator. It's getting like this to validator. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is what the validator is saying. Whereas this is what the validator is expecting like this. And that's the reason why it's giving us that we are supplying wrong because the value that it is seeing is string, not number. So the value you're expecting from us is number because that's what we define at the top here. That number, it must be number. And if you supply anything that is not that, it will bring out the error. But how do we talk to this thing to convert what we have there to number? So one way of doing it is by changing this one to string and you now validate it against the number. Or you can use this register and talk to it that whatever you are getting back from here, you should convert it to number for you, or you should convert it to date or any other common thing. So here now we can supply options. So here too you can supply your validator if you want, but what I need here is this is the option. As you can see, you can disable it. You can give it this validate the validation for max. So once you give it validation, you give it the maximum number of character it can take. So max length. The difference between max and max length. Max is talking about number. Now when you say 4, so it means the number you have to be less or equal to 4. You can't go more than 4. But when you say max length, you are talking about the number of character you type. Max is talking about number like this. But when you're talking about max length, it's talking about the number of character you type. So this max length here is 4. But when you're talking about max, so it can't go more than 4. A simple it can't go more than this number. That's max. But when you take max length, it's talking about the length of the character. So they are not the same thing. And this one works with string. So this one works with string, and this one work with number because number is the one you can do mathematics stuff with. The same thing with main and main length too. So this one deal with number and this one deal with string like that you can supply the number of this thing that you have there. But the one I actually need here is this value as number. So which is whatever value the user is typing, you should convert it to proper number. Because what is coming here is not going like this thing is string, it's not number. So you are typing number, but by the time it gets here, what is going to see is just normal string there. So we need to talk to this thing that whatever is sending to us to just give us as number. So saved, and I think this one should solve the problem. So remove, as you can see that if I put it, is it up to. So there is another message now that is coming. The first one is number only. So which means it's picking this error. So look at it at the top here. So where is it? Yeah, as you can see that we made mistake with the this thing. So what is here is that this number now, it will check whether whatever you are sending is number or not. But this one now that we use is talking about whatever we type here must not be more than 16. But what we actually type here is, it count it as like this is let me use. So this one now is 231, which is more than 16 already. So what this thing is expecting is that whatever number you have to type here must not be more than. So for example, if you type 12, okay, minimum too, because we actually put minimum. We said the minimum is 16 and maximum is, so whatever you have to put here must be 16. So that's not what we are supposed to use. What we have to use is the length, not value. So when you're talking about length, so what's the length of this thing? So that's what's supposed to be there instead of mean. If you're talking about, oh, you don't want the number to be greater than this or less than this, you can use mean or max. But when you're talking about the length of it, it has to be, because on number, this one is working for this thing there. So I don't know why don't we so this is number that we're using. So we need to change this thing because with number, that's why you'll be using mean and max. But um, what we actually need is the length, and max length work with string. So what we need to do here is to convert it to string. Then we do our normal number validator on it there, which is what I show you last time. There is a lot of validator that you can use on top of this thing. So what we need here is not what we are currently using, because this one is dealing with number. And when you're dealing with number, the main or max is talking about number in general, not the length of whatever you are typing. So here now the length is just 1, 2, 3, all the way to the end of it. So that's what max or mean length is dealing with. But here now we are dealing with number. So number doesn't have that stuff. As you can see, it only have max or min like that. So there is nothing like, or we can actually use length. So this is support the length. No, it did not bring it. So I have to resolve into string. So what we have to do now is to use a string, and based on that, we'll be able to talk to it that, oh, the length we want is this. So if you are going to use string, it means here we can't be using this. We can't use this in again. We can't use this as number again. It needs to come as string. Will be the one that will transform it at the top there. So what can we do here? So what we can do, let me remove what I put down here. So what we need to do, yeah, the card number. So remove this option yeah, because it will not work according to what we want to do. What we want to do is to check the length of it, not that it is greater than 16 number. So because it will not work, as you can see, it will be telling us that we have wrong format, because this number now is way bigger than 16. So what we need to do here is convert this one to string. So which means we are telling that whatever we're expecting is a string. Then here now, what we can do is to use and as you can see now, we now have access to max length like that. But I see a problem. So, oh no, let me use main first. But let's see. You see that this one will solve part of our problem, but not all the problem. So with string, you can use max length or main length. So he's not talking about number. He's talking about the number of character that you type. So the number of character you have to type must be 16. It can be less and it can be more, but it have to be or we can even use length instead of us wasting typing like this. We can use length. Length just mean it's the same thing as you combining both the main and max, as I want to show you on their side. So if you want to do it yourself, maybe the main and the max are different. Like you can have a minimum of 8, but the maximum is 20, like a password. When you're adding validator to a password, you can say, okay, the minimum they will have is 8, but they can't have more than 32. So that one now you can use min length and max length. But since the min and max are the same thing, you can just use length directly. So if the min and the max are the same, you use length. But if they are not the same, then you mention them, or you still use them, they are the same. But it's just a waste of typing, because if you look at the error message you put there, it's still the same thing for them, both the min and the max. And what this one is saying is that whatever text you have to type here, it can be more than 16. So here, as you can see, uh, why not save? So let me reload it. So pass the stuff. You can see now it's telling us wrong format because it has not yet gotten to 16. So let me use the one that will. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's the first 8. So we need to have the second 8 to complete 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is 15. Once the next one is added, it will accept. Because and if you add more than that, it will still tell you that because we said length should be 16. It can't go less and it can't go more. It must be that 16. But there's a problem with this one too. The problem is that I can actually type letter because it's a string. Anything that is inside code is string. So it doesn't care whether you are typing at character or you are typing underscore or you are typing any, it will only accept it because everything that is inside the code are referred to as string. But we don't want this thing to do it for us like that. So another way of doing it is by adding refine here. You can actually refine your this thing. So refine it's a way of you telling this thing that you want to maybe pass your own custom validator. Or you can even use custom sef if you want. Like instead of using string, you can use custom or you can use this refine. And this refine, it will give you the value. As you can see, it will give you the value. There is now less for you to return true or false. If you return true, means that something is wrong. And if it returns false, then the whatever error message. So for example, here now, we're going to receive the value. And what I want to do is type of value equal to, we have number. So which means whatever you are typing, the type of it should be number. Look at it here. Let me show. All this is just JavaScript that we've talked about before. This one is not even related to React at all or from it's JavaScript in general. So let me show you directly from here. So every number you have, they have type associated with them. For example, I have const x to be 5 and I have const y to be 5. But now this one is in a quote. So how do you get the type of a particular? So you can use type of, then you pass whatever you are looking for the type. Can you see? It knows that the value that is inside x, the type of it is number. So let's do it for the y too. So let's do type of y. As you can see, it knows that the type of this one is string. And that's what I'm trying to use here. So which means whatever you supply it will check whether it is string or it is a number. But there's a problem. Don't forget whatever that is coming here is string by default. So we need to firstly convert it to number. And after you convert it to number, anything you pass into another way of solving the problem without doing too much of work is by passing whatever that is coming in into number. So once you pass it into number, this one will return entire number for you or it will return not a number. So if you pass something that is okay, like this, if you even pass number, it will return number. But if you pass the string of this thing, as you can see, it will convert it. But now imagine you now pass something that is not number or not valid number. For example, 1A, B, C like this. This is not a valid number, as you can see, it will return this one. So based on this now, you can now, talk to this one that whatever it return, is it valid? If it is valid, accept it. If it's not valid, then it means something is wrong. So we can now check that whatever this thing is returned is not a number. So here now we can just do a number like this. So 1, 2, 3. Let's use correct number first. Is not equals to none like this. As you can see, it is true because by the time you convert this thing, it will give us a proper number. But now if I use it with something that is not valid like this, which is still giving me the same. So this is not giving me what I'm expecting here because what I'm expecting is supposed to give me false, but it's not giving me this stuff. So what I need to use here is to convert it to Boolean. So this is another method of solving this stuff because here now we are supposed to get this, which means JavaScript is doing so. You can see he's saying it is false, which is supposed to be true. And if he said none, it's not. So if you check online, they used to make joke about all this thing. As you can see, it's bringing that. But how do we solve this thing? What we can do is to just pass it into Boolean like this. So if you pass into Boolean, as you can see, it's always false. It's just like you are passing false here, like that. So if you pass something that is correct, for example, here I have Boolean, I have number, but this one too I have a problem. That's why I don't want to use this one before. There's a problem with this one too. If I pass 1, 2, 3, whatever stuff like this, you can see it return true because it's a valid number. But now let me pass something that is not valid. As you can see, it return false. But the problem with this one is that it will still return false even if you type 0. Because don't forget, zero will get converted to false when you are dealing with boolean or anything like undefined. So anything like zero, false, undefined, and null or empty string like this, when you use them with boolean, they will get returned as false. And as you can see, so which means this kind of we can actually use this here because we are not expecting one number. But if you have a program or if you have input that you're expecting number from it and you want to do it, this solution cannot work because it will be saying 02 as false. But for what we are doing right now, it will work for us. But just notice that you can't use this one when you're expecting number there. So which means you can use other method like that. But for now, we can use this one here. And where are we going to use it? We use it inside this refine here because this method that I put here should be this. Because first we need to convert it to a number, or we can use this one. So type of nan like this, as you can see, that's what I want to use because to see it as number. Because now too is in it as number, and that's why I want to use this method. But it's not returning what I'm expecting, so we have to go with this method here. That's why JavaScript, there are different ways of doing things, but each one of them will not always work in all the places that you want to use it. And that's why I'm explaining this one too. It's not every time this one too will work. So when you're expecting zero as part of the successful value, this one will not work because it will be seeing zero as false. But because where we want to use it, we don't care. Whatever number you type here, it will be 16. So there's no way it to be one digit, that will be zero. Zero can be there because here now, if it is 20, this one will actually work. So if you use boolean and you have number like this, so you have 20, this one will actually work because it's not just zero that is there. There are two number, and you know the number that we'll be expecting from them will always be 16 number. So there's no way it's going to be a single zero. So if you give us single zero, say zero to us here because we are expecting 16 digits, not just single digit here. So this one will work, but it will not work where you are expecting zero. So JavaScript, you can do things in different way, but which way, it all depend on what you are trying to achieve it. So this one did not work. This one, the other one will not work. That's why I'm resolving to another one, and that's what you always do most of the time. You solve a problem. When you solve the problem and the problem you are trying to solve or the solution you are putting there, it only work for a particular set of data. It did not work for all of them. You have to look for a solution that will work for all the value that you're expecting. Because if I'm expecting zero here, only zero, I can't use this method. It will always fail. As you can see, it's returning false. This one too, as you can see here, that's why I'm testing it here for you to see what is going to be going on behind the scene. Not that we just put everything there and you what are you doing here? Why is this thing failing? But when you do the stuff here and you see the result you are getting from the sample there, and when you try it on one sample, you try it on the second sample, you try it on the third sample, you try it on the fourth one and it did not work on the fourth, but it worked for the first, that means that solution you can't use it. You have to find another one, and you keep finding the one that works best based on what you want to do. And that's the reason why you see that we are refining our code here. The one we have here before is number, but what we want to do here is the length we are looking for, not the actual number of 16. We are looking for that you are typing 16 characters, not that you have number 16. So we can't use number there. So we have to revert it back to string. So this string, it works, as you can see, it works, but it did not solve all our problem. So what's the problem again that we have with this one? The problem is that we can type letter. But you know, the value you're expecting here, they are not supposed to type letter. So you have to find another way of making sure that all the value you're expecting are matching whatever the user is typing. And that's the reason why you need to test this thing with different value. Not that you just test it once and you now assume that everything is working like that. And that's why you see some site online will break when the user puts in wrong stuff. So when you are developing anything, as you are working on the success part, you always be using any wrong value to see whether this thing is working as expected or not. Because if you are testing this thing and we just pass only number, you know, we assume that it's working. But somebody now that want to use the application, maybe where he's typing, he now mistakenly press R and you see that the thing accept the stuff R. So from there, trouble comes and it can disrupt the system. Maybe when they submit now, you send it to the backend, and that one now go and do what it's not supposed to do at that place. or something just happened and it exposed your system because the user did not impute what you're expecting them to impute it. Because this thing is telling us that we can actually insert any letter, which is wrong because whatever we want to put here have to be numbers. So what do we need to do? We need to make sure that whatever they are typing here too, they are not string. But how do you see that? No internet. So I will have shown you what the refine is expecting. And with the refine here, what is expecting here, as you can see from the definition, if this thing is not too much, what this thing is saying is that this refine, you need to give it a function. And that your function needs to return true or false. So whatever that thing return, we determine the message here. So if it return true or if it return false, it will determine whether this your form is valid or is not valid. So if it is return true, okay. If it's not returning true, then it's not valid. Then whatever message you supply, it will use it. It's just like this string, but you know this string is only looking for string. But with the refine, you give it the condition that it needs to use to display message or not, and you are the one that would okay. This is it will give you the value that it receive here. So whatever value that is coming from the form, that's what I'm calling this file. So you cannot do whatever you want with it, but you need to return true or false. Then after you return true or false, the next thing you supply to it, as you can see here, this mean you give it a value. And if it is okay, no message. But if it is not okay, it will display this message. So this one too, you can do something like that too. So when you are done with whatever you are doing here, you give it your message that you want. For example, only only numbers are allowed. But here you need to return true or false. For example, here now, let me just return false. I don't care about the value that is there. I will just return false like this. But it's telling me that I've not used this value. So let me just create empty stuff like this and save it. So run it and reload the page. So reload the page. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever stuff. So we have this one, as you can see. Can you see now? See that it's not saying only number, and even though it's up to 16 and it's number that is there. Why is it saying that? It's because I return false here. So which means this your stuff did not go with the validation. So here now if I return true, it means it will always accept it. So it's less for you to use the value to determine to return false or to return true. And what do we want to do here? What we want to do is that we get the value, we check whether everything that is here is number or not. If everything that is here is number, it means it is valid. So that means we need to return true. But if whatever that is there, if one of them is not valid, what do we need to do? We need to return this thing. And how do we do it? What we can do is this stuff that we use here. So whatever that is coming in, which is going to be value. So for example here, I'm going to have x, which is the value that you are inputting in, and it's going to be string. So this value here, we can now use our boolean and we pass the number into it, then pass your x. And as you can see, if whatever you have there is number, it will return true, which means everything is okay. But now if your x is not having any illegal character and you now use this uh uh change the number now. So it's having any illegal character like this and you run this one, you can see it will be false. So when you return this one here, when you return false, it means whatever value you send to this thing did not pass the validation. So it will show this error message. That's why I said only number are allowed. But if you return true, so let me return true. Yeah, it means it will accept. No, whether you type letter or you type anything, since it's returning true, it will always accept whatever you type. But we know that's not what we want. So what we want here is that whatever the user will type must be a valid number. All the stuff we added, what's going on? Why am I clicking this in twice? Yeah. So here now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It will accept it. Even if you type W, it will accept it because our refine is returning true. But that's not what we want. So here, let's receive the value. What do we need to do? we need to convert the value to number and we pass it into boolean. So number like this, and then we pass it back. So it will convert the number to, it will convert it to a proper number. Try to convert. You know, if it is number, it will be okay. If it's not number, it will return now. I know now when you pass it to boolean, it will return false. So since it's returning false, it will bring out this error message. So say we know that we are checking a string, but we want to make sure that whatever you impute is a valid number. All of them must be number. And that's why I'm passing it down here. So remove this one, pass two, everything is okay. Pass A now. As you can see, it will not accept it again because it send it to that refine. Refine check. Refine send it that it is now. And you know boolean will return false. So since it's false, it will see the stuff. And if you click on confirm here, it will not accept it. So you can't submit. As you can see, it will always be here because you've not finished that part. But if I remove letter, replace it with number, then it will accept. So the next is this one like this. The same thing too is what we need to do here. The maximum is 2. As you can see, we tell you that whatever number you have, whatever stuff you have to type there, it must be 2. But again, too, you know, this is month. You know that month, there's some other validation that goes along with month. You know, that's like 01. No, you can't have 00 because there's no month like 00. So you can't have a month like that is greater than 12. So your month will have to be 01 all the way to 12. So any other thing apart from that, you know, you can type 21, you can type 32. You don't, those are not valid months. So we need to add that validator there. And I don't, the result is not really giving us validation for months. So you have to do it yourself, or you consult some library online that have all these full validation there like that, because I don't think this one actually give us validation from. There's a lot of validation you can do on string. For example, here you can, if you do dots, as you can see, it's going to bring a lot of them. As you can validate dates, can validate daytime. But this one is talking about the full daytime. It's not talking about only month. It's not talking about only year or the day. The day too can help you to validate email. So when it is email that you want to validate, just give it a string email. It will take that it's a valid string and at the same time it's a valid email. But now I don't think there is anything like a month here. So it's not something that is generic like that. So it's not doing it. So since it's not doing it, what do we need to do? We need to use our own refine tool. So refine is what you always use anytime you need custom stuff on the existing one. But if you don't want to use the existing one, you can actually use your own directly by passing custom here. So instead of passing number, you can just pass the custom directly. So like that. But if you already passed the type that is there before, but you don't supporting some other validation you want on it, you just use refine. So whatever value is sent to you, you can do whatever you want with it. Yeah, like that. So what do we want to do now? And we need to come back to this one too. So let's even do this one first. So what we want to do is that whatever name you want to type, it must be first name and last name. And how do we get that? You know, to get this is just simple stuff that we're going to do. No, every first name and last name it have pattern. You have first, followed by space, then you have last. So which means, and you know, here now you can break this in into two. Anytime you have a string, you can convert it to array by breaking it with a particular letter. For example, here now let me have, because I always want to show it here before we use it at that place. So here now I have const name, which is whatever you'll be typing here, should just be first, and I have last like this. So I want to break this in, I want to break it into array so that I can know the length of each side that you type, the first and the last that you type. So yeah, how can you break? You can do name dot split. So split is what you can use to break string into array. As you can see here, you separate, you mention what are you using to separate that your string. So what are we using to separate our string? We are using space. And see, it will break your string based on the separator that is supplied. If you don't supply any separator, it will just break all of them one by one like that. As you can see, F1, and you know this is not what we need. So again, if you are using another type of this, maybe constant name 2, like this. You have test semicolon here, and you have home, you have school. So you now want to break all this into array. You can use that split. What you just use name two, then the split. But what are you using to separate them? So it is this semicolon here. And once you say, as you can see, it will break that text. And you know that here now, when the user type, they have to separate first and last with space. So we can use that one now to break so that we can know whether you type two or you only have one name added. You know this one now, it will assume this one is just one name, not two. Because here now we need the first and we need the last, or you need the last, depending on how you want them to type. But you know all the cards, they always start with almost the card these days. Let me see. Almost cards these days. This open, you know, I'm not here with the GT. But if you look at the GT, it's always the first, then followed by the last name. Before they used to add three names, but now it's just two that they put there. So, and that's what we want to do here too, because all the cards always have two names, the first and the last. So here now you need to type your value need to be like the first and last. But the current validation we have doesn't care. The only thing it care about is that you just type one character here. So as long as it is one character, that's why it's accepting it. If you just type F, it will accept it because that's what we put there. But that's not what we want. We want you to type your first name and want you to type your last name only. It must not be more than this. If you type another thing again, maybe order like this is not valid because the only can you see Jane, whatever stuff. So it's just two names that is there. It can't be three and it can't be one. It must be two. And how do you know that it is two names that they type? We can use this logic here because we know that whatever they type here, there is going to be a space in between the name. So we can now use that to break it. And when you break it, as you can see, it will tell you the number of stuff that is inside it. Array will give you the length. So if it is two, we know that it is two names that you type. If it is one, we know that it is one name that you type. It is more than two, we don't want. Less than two, we don't want. More than two, we don't want. And that's what we need to use here too, by using our refine again on this one. So what we need to do here is to refine. So refine will give us the value. So once we receive the value, what do we want to do? We need to check whether you've already typed. But this validator should do that one already, which is one, because you must have already type one before it, that's this thing is before you move to net validator, it will check the first one first. So it will check the string. When string is okay, it will go to the next one. When this one is okay, it will go to the next validator. That's why you see that it's not showing that our this in that time first. It firstly check whether you have this string. If it's okay, it will check for length. And when length 2 is okay, it will not check for refine. So which means that time you get there, you already type something already. So the first thing to check is required, which is this enter valid name. Because if you press it now, like that, I've not typed. Let me remove what I typed. So remove, as you can see, enter your valid name because you've not typed anything. So it will not even go to the next validator until you are done with this. So when you're done with this, like this one, you see you've already typed one character. This one too will kicks in and tell you that you have to enter the name in this pattern first and last. But that's the message we are going to put in. And how do we do it? It's just by using the method I talked about now, split. And what do we want to use to split? The space. And when it's split, you know it's to convert it to array. So we need to check whether the length there is the same thing as 2. So you know this one will be return true or false. If it is 2, that means everything is valid. It will not show any error. But if it is false, it means whatever you type is either less or more than first and last. And what do you want to do? You just want to tell them that enter your first and last name. So like this. So save and save the code. Go back to the page. So you can see it will not call that last, but it will always finish the first validator before moving to the next one. So the first validator is that you must start at least one letter. So when you're not done with one letter, you see the second one will not kick in. So which is not telling you enter your first and last name because by the time it break the A, this is what it did here. You have const value, so you have const var, which is A. So it break it so by using the split, and you know it's breaking it by space. Can you see how many things is there? So by the time you do it, or by the time you do it dot length like this, can you see it's just one. But we say the length must always be 2, which means here now, listen, this one too, it will accept it because that's what we said. Which means we need to add another validator here. Now after the thing is break, at least your first name must be three letter. And again to at least your last name must be three letter. So that's how you keep, this one solve only one particular problem. Now it did not solve the other one, which is that because here now someone can bypass the system like this. I mean, they can just type one character for the first name and last name, which is bad. At least almost all the names start with three letters, not with one or two letters. Almost all the names start with three. Because like Are now, it is three letter. So almost all the names start with three. So we need to make sure that the first one and the last one too is at least three. So by the time we break it, and how do we do that? So what we need to do here is that when you have the first, so here, let me do it again, like this one. So let's solve it here so that we now put it in our code. Better you see it here first. So for example, this is what the user inputted here. They input A and A like this. So when we split it, so comes split like this will just be val, then the split. Are we splitting by we're splitting by what? Space. So here now, what do we need to do? So call the split. It should kind of give us 32. So we need to look through the array that they have there and check the length of each one of them. So the length of this each one of all of them here must be at least three. And how do we do that? Array give us all the functionality you can use. For example, here, this is it here. You can use all these functionality that array is giving us, like the find, the add, or whatever stuff. But the one I want to use here is you can use this every. So every means whatever condition you put there, all the stuff that is here must match that condition before it will return true. If it's just one of them that you want, you can use some. But the one we actually need is every, because the first one must be at least three, and this one too must be at least three. So what we can do here is that was split now. So we can just do split, then dot every value that is there. So it will give us, you need to give it a function so that you are going to use. So this function will receive each one of the value. And what do we need to do? What we just need to do is to return the value, then dot length is greater or equals to 3, or if you want, it's greater than 2. And as you can see, it's return false because the letter what we have there is not even up to 2. It's just 1 1. So now if you use a value, so if you use this thing now on a value, so let me just use it on one line. So here I have first and I have last, and dot split, because that's what we just do. So split, what are we splitting? By space. Then when it's done splitting, then we check every one of them, every one of the value. The length is greater than 2. As you can see, it returned 2. So it will check each one of the value you have here and check their length, whether it's great. All of them must match. So which means even one of them that is not match, the first will match. And now I'm using L here. As you can see, it will be first. The first one match, but the second one did not. Or the last one match, the first one did not match. That's the meaning of every. All of them must match, not just one. If you only need one of them to match, but there's sometimes that you only just want to, okay, is there any one of you that passed this course? I don't care whether it's all of you that pass or you guys did not pass. I'm only looking for I'm looking for someone that passed. So if there's someone that passed it, then do this. But if not pass, then do another thing. So that's some. So when you just need part of it to be true, then what you just do is sum. Both of them work the same way. The difference is that one is looking for all of them, while this one is just looking, as you can see. So he doesn't care about the first one. As long the second one is okay, then everything is okay. But according to our own application here, the two must be okay. And this is what we need to use here. So we need to create another refine, because this one solve the problem of you imputing first and last. We need to have another refine that check whether the first one is up to 3 letter or not, like your first and last. So I can keep creating them like that depending on whatever condition you want to add to your validator. Again, another refine. So it's going to give us the value like this. So the value we receive, we just do value, then split. Once we split it by space, we it's giving us array already. So what we need to do is every. So get the value and value, but length is greater than 2. So what we want to do here is that please, or let us say, which message can we use here? Enter a so since we said enter your first and last, let's just enter a valid first and last name so that we know that the message are coming from different places. So now I don't think we need to add any other validate so again, yeah. Except if you think of another thing that we can do with the name, or maybe you always want them to capitalize each the first letter of each one of them. You can do that, but I don't think you should give them that kind of work. It's something you can do behind the scene for them. But yeah, if I type A now, so let me reload again because this is just not supposed to accept. Okay, let me reload. Then type this. So we have A still accepting something is wrong here. Let me see. Every let me see the value is given to us because now it did not. So CLG, let me console log out the value so that we can see what is given to us because it's not doing what it's supposed to do. So it's going to tell us the whatever value you type in. So as you can see, yes. What's wrong with this thing before? Okay, he's not back. Since when? So when you don't type anything, the first validator comes in, which is enter a valid name. So when you type something, the second validator will click in. You can see there's another problem here. No, you can type number. And you know number doesn't make sense with a name. So yeah, I can type this. You can see it to accept it. That's the and that's why you see that when you're building application, it always takes time. Because most of the thing you'll be doing there is to make sure the data that the user inputting there are correct. You see that we've not done any other thing apart from just Adam validation shown on this. So which means now another thing we need to check is that whatever you are doing here, there must not be a number. It's whatever they type. So and how do we do that? One thing I can just do here is that uh I just do this one and so boolean which is like what we use there number pass every thing like that so I pass v like this so yeah not this is not what I want you to do because I to do the opposites don't forget when we pass it when it is now 'cause that's what I'm expecting or no don't even this one is just this is waste of typing so type of uh nah. It will not come because let me show you here so that you can see what I want to do. It will not be as if uh, I'm doing something. So this is what I want to do here. What I want to do here is the length must be greater or equals to 2 or must be greater than 2 and at the same time there must not be anything like number there. This one is checking that the length is greater than 2. Why this second one needs to check that it is not having number. So and how do we do that it is not having number? I can't just use this method here because everything everything here is just string. It will see that string. If it is number, the color will be like this. If it is string, it will be this white. As you can see, 2DA. So this 2DA now is not valid. But how do I prove it to that define that it is not valid? So I need to return a condition that is going to be false. And what do we need to do? So this 2DA here now, we need to check that we need to convert it to this thing. What can we do? We need to remove any number that is here. That's one way of doing it. We replace all the number that is here with empty whatever stuff, with empty space, or we can actually use something referred to as regular expression. But it's something I've not talked about. Regular expression is another way of you matching a pattern in a text. The job of regular expression is to check the pattern you are looking for, whether it is inside a text or it's not in a text. And every text editor support this thing. Every valid text editor, they have regular expression in them. For example, here now, this 2a, so I have FAD like this. So what I want to do, I want to look for three characters that did not or that include number. I'm looking for character that include number, or I'm looking for character. And how do you do that? We have different regular expression that you can use. So look at it here. This is a regular expression. So which means when you are performing the search, you are not just searching for only the text. You can give it a pattern that is going to use to look for what you are looking for. And one of the pattern here is this backslash D. What does this backslash D mean? It means you are looking for a digit. Look for anywhere there is digit on this screen. No, I did not say two, one. Look for digits. I don't care whether it is one, it is two, it is 10, or it is 30. As long as it is a digit, just highlight it. So if I click on fineness, as you can see, it will see that this is a digit. But if I click on next, as you can see, you did not see any other number again. So we use this backslash D to look for digits. Or if you are looking for a particular set of number, just put it in this square bracket and it only look for all those numbers. For example, if I put 1 here and if I put 6, or if I put this in, so fineness like that. So as you can see, it won't be able to find what you are looking for, or which is this 167. Or but if I don't want to do it like this, so I can just find, even though number is a, but it cannot find all this one. So 127, 123, ABC 131, whatever stuff. So 56. But this regular expression is a language on its own, like it's a separate language, but it works in JavaScript, and it's really really powerful that you can quickly use to look for a pattern. That's why I want to explain each one of these things are there. What is time? Because I might even focus on it more. And next class, come outside. Okay, we have like 8 minutes left, so let's just use it to explain the regular expression, the one you need. I will not explain everything. It's like a broad topic on its own. So, but let me explain. So, when we are doing regular expression backslash D, this is what we use to look for digits. And what it's looking for is just this, like that. You have 1 to 9, like this, or 0 to 9 rather, like this. So this is what it's looking for. When you use backslash D, it's as if you type it like this. The same thing too, we have this one, W. This is what we call word. So everything here is just word. So but it's just looking for the single one. So anytime you use it, they are just looking for single one, but you can tell it to look for two, or to look for three, or to look for four of it, and so forth like that. And this is it. This is what this one means. So word is just this one. A to 0 to 9, like this. A to Z, like this, and you have A to Z. So this is what it's looking for, word. So that's why it's going to include number there if you use find. So if I use find now, so here remove this one, and if I use backslash W here, find like that, as you can see, it will always sing all of them. Because what it's looking for is this. Is that looking for 0 to 9, or capital A to capital Z, or small a to Z. So it will see. So when you use W, it's looking for word, and everything here is just word. Even the underscore too, it will see it. Let me put underscore to the list. Let me put that special character there too. Because whatever you are looking for, that's the only thing it will see. So Samson at Gmail. I can now use that now to look for the email pattern. Like the person actually imputes email pattern. So here, like this. So what are we looking for? We are looking for what? But if you look at it, see that it's selecting all of them one by one. I did not say two, I did not say three. If you just give it like this, it's only looking for one. Even digit two. If you use digit backslash D like this, it's only looking for one. As you can see now, it will not select all this one again because they are not digits. The only thing it's looking for is 0 to 9. So anything that is 0 to 9, that's the only thing it will see. It will never see any other thing again on the page apart from that. So that is skipping the other one. So backslash W looking for digits, or you can type it like this if you want. So if you don't want to do it like this, just type 0 to 9 yourself. But this is waste of typing because you can see that it's still working. So it's either you type this or you type this one. Both of them are doing the same thing. This one too. And again too, I think this one include underscore in the list like that. So for you to look for underscore to when you so if I use backslash W, find like this, as you can see, everything, but it will not match this one. But this one is not what. So until I skip that at, it will skip that dot too. But it's not what. The only thing it's looking for is this set. So it will skip them. It will pick number two. I see that I pick, but it skip this one. Again, to skip that slash, it go to the. So that's the backslash W. So backslash W is just this set. This is what it's looking for. Anything between 0 to 9, or capital A to Z, or small letter A to Z and this underscore. Anything other else, it will not select it. But what if you want this into, here it now, it's selecting them one by one. But what I want it to say, okay, look for anywhere that is two digits. It's not that you start with two digits, you can find two digits together. Anywhere you can find two digits together, select it. So how do you top that one? So you can use this D and we put this three or two here. So what I'm saying here is that this one is looking for one. This one is looking for anywhere you have two digits together. They must be together. So which means it will pick this one, and at the same time, it should pick this one because it can find them side by side. So that's the thing with this regular expression. It's looking for pattern, and that pattern is what is going to use. So fineness, as you can see, to be picking them two, two. Like I even did not pick them. So you see, it's picking 56. Again, it's picking this 12, and that's all. Those are the only one I have here. Those are the only one. So here now, how do you pick minimum of two and maximum of five? So you can actually select, if you see two, select it. If you see three, select it. The maximum is just five. Look for anywhere you can see a number two, three, or four, or five together. So here now we can give it by using two. So this is minimum and this is maximum. Or if you don't need maximum, you only need minimum. Just leave it empty, but that command must be there. So which means that the minimum is it, but it can go more than that. It can't go less than two. But if you know the max, just supply the max there, like that. So here now, if I find again, so there's just 2, 5. So fineness, as you can see, is CD3. Minimum is this, and the maximum is 5. So, and this thing is greedy, as you can see that it left 2, and it go with the maximum one it can find. But that maximum one too must not be more than 5. So, for example, here if I have ABC 1, 2, 3, 4, or whatever stuff like this, I have another letter there. So here now, find. You see that it pick this one, you pick this, pick. So you can see it's always greedy. So that we said the maximum is 5. So since it can see that maximum of 5, it pick all of them at once. So the same thing here too. The 1, 2, 3, 4. No, it did not pick 3, not pick 2. You go with the maximum one that's there, but it will not come here because minimum is 2. But the thing is greedy. You can actually tell it that don't be greedy. Go with the small one. Don't go with the big one. But those are the bad. That's why I said this thing is a course on its own, like a full blown course on its own. But we don't go into all those. And the one you just did right now is what explaining. So another thing you can do here is that you can look for the starting and the end. Look at it now. What if you need, like, look at it. We are looking for a text where the number is starting that place. Not that it is somewhere in the text. It's starting that text. Now here now, if you have it like this, so I have ABC 1, 2, 3, then ABC again, and here I have 1, 2, 3, 2 ABC like this, and 1, 2, 3 like that. So what I want to do here, we want to match a text that is starting with number. Now what we did before is just to find number. We don't care whether it is starting or it is at the middle or at the end or anywhere. We don't care. Just select the number. But what if you care about the starting, whether that number is starting or is ending the that item? So you can actually specify that one too. So to match, let me put this one at the top. I've skipped one here. So we have D. So you have the N, which you can do D2 like this. So for this one, you can match D and do it for word too. You specify the number of character you want to take. So it's not just for number alone. So N M like this, which matches. You can do something like this. But what we want to do now is to match the starting of. So to start with the word, you can use current. this thing that I'm using with number, it's what with word too. So yeah, when you start with caret, it means this thing must be the starting point of wherever it find it. It can't be at the middle like this. And see, wherever it find it, it must be the one that will start. Whatever stuff you put there, it must be the one that will start. It can't be anywhere else at that place. So when you just say digit it here, it can looking for it. So here, if I just use D and 2, you can look for 2, as you can see, to keep looking for them. But it doesn't care whether it's starting or it's at the end. It will always match. As you can see, it's matching them, whether it's at the top or it's at the end. It doesn't care. As long is somewhere there, it will match. But that's not what I want. I want this thing to start. It must be the starting one, not anywhere. So once that caret is there, the one that it's going to see and the one that matches the starting point. So you can see now, it did not match this one again. Because though this one starts, that's why it matches. So these are the only one that the number is starting. Any other one that the number is not starting, and again, this must be 2, not 1. Of like the two number that starts a particular line. So since these are the only one that start the line, then to match. Again, too, when you want to match end, so this one matches the start. So it can be G, it can be what too, oh, any one you want or any other. There's other one too, but these are the one that is. Then we have this the dollar sign to match end. So this one match the start. So start of line, and this one match end of line. So which means whatever you put there, it must be at the end of that line, not the starting point of the line. So here you can do this by doing D. So it means no, it have to be like this, always at the end. So you have W like this. The word you are looking for, it must be at the end. You don't care at the middle, you don't care at the start or any other place. It must be the one at the end. For example, like this form here. Now it's going to match it. It's going to match this D. It's going to match this A. Like that. So if you use it. So F, I use this one. So W and end like this. You can see it always match the one at the end. But if you want it to match end and start, you can combine that one together. Which means whatever you are looking for a single character that it starts and it ends. Nothing like that here because I don't have a single character that starts and ends. Or everything I have here, there are more than one. But if you want, you can just put the number of the one. So the minimum is 2, but I don't care about the maximum. But it starts and it ends like that. But the minimum must be 2. You can see it will always anything that is skip this one. This one skip is there is at and there is dot. So everything is not. And that's what we can use here to check whether whatever you type here is word without there is one that I skipped that I need to mention there. So another one that I skipped is to negate. You can actually negate, but don't let me talk about that one. Let's just use this one for now. I will call it a day, and we can talk more about regulars because like there's a textbook of 1,000 pages on top of this thing alone. 1,000 pages. So it's not something we can just. But these are the common one that you even all. I don't know everything. So because regular expression is really wide, but the one you'll be using in JavaScript, those are the one I will just explain. Because you can see I'm not using it in JavaScript. You can use it in any editor that supports it. So it's not just for JavaScript alone. It can be used in any language or any editor support this stuff. So it's not related to JavaScript. It's a language on its own. That's why I'm doing it here. I'm not doing it from JavaScript. But there's a way of connecting it to JavaScript there. So you just give it the regular expression and it will check whether that value matches it or not. So this one is searching. So there too you can do in JavaScript. I use it to search for a word, or you can use it to check whether that thing matches it or not. So it will tell you whether it match or not. And what do we want to do here? What we want to do is that whatever you type, we don't want any number there. And how can you construct that? So you can do A to Z or A to Z like this. So this is a for letter only. Don't forget the word is not just for letter, it's including the this thing 0 to 9 too. So which means it will include number. But this one now is only for the letter that you type. So we cannot use that, cannot use this thing to check whether whatever you type here it's including only this in or not. And how do you do it? You do it in JavaScript. So you give it the whatever stuff and you use test. So this test, oh no, no, no. You need to pass the regular expression first. To pass the regular expression, you start with slash. This is one. Can you see one stupid regular expression here? Like that. This is what you can use for, because you can see W now. W again is looking forward, but 2 to 3, and again it's end. It start like that and it end like that. So, but yeah, now what we want to do, what we want to do here is this it starts like this. So it can be A to Z or A to Z. I don't care about the whether it's uppercase or lowercase. As long as it is letter, it will accept it. But if you care about small letter alone, you don't need to add this one. If you care about uppercase, you don't need to add this one. So anytime you want to do all those validation, and again, it must end like that. So it must end like that. What is going on? So it must end like that. So this is how to create regular. To create regular expression, this is one way. Start with slash. In between these two slash, you type your regular expression. Then on it, as you can see, it knows that you are doing regular expression already. Once you use two slash and in between there is something there that is regular expression, it knows that JavaScript know what you are doing already. So and as you can see, you can do a lot of things on it. You can test. This is what I want to use. And test here will return true or false. Whether whatever you pass here matches this thing or not. So here now if I pass A, B, C, this one should kind of uh, oh, it's just one. Yeah, it will not match you because I'm only looking for one. As you can see, it will work with one, but 2, 3, it will not work. So which means here we need to make sure that this thing is having a minimum of two, a minimum of. We said our name is going to have a minimum of 3, and it can come more than that. And see now, it works. So we are looking for whatever you are typing must have a minimum of 3 characters. And that character must not contain number. It must be between this range. So now if I put maybe like 1 or something anywhere, I say 1 is here, or if I put 2A, it will not work again. Because it's not saying something is not expecting. And that's what we can use here. Even this refine that we use at the top here, we don't even need it. We don't even need this refine down here. We can put everything together at that top instead of creating another one that we did here like that. So instead of creating another one here, you can just use regular expression directly on the stuff at that top. So what I can just do here is that so what I can just do here is so I don't want this one. I don't want this one again. So I will just use only one regular expression or only one refine instead of wasting time. But if you want, you can separate them if there's a separate message that you want to use for them. You can separate, but I will just do it here. So instead of checking the length only here, I'm not checking only length. So what I will just do here is everything, so every of the value that you have. So I will just use regular expression to test. So you are starting with A to Z like this or A to Z and the minimum is 3, but it can go more than that. So close and it end in that way. So test. What are you testing? I'm testing the V. So this thing will check that whatever you type here, the minimum is 3. And at the same time, it's just only letter. So saved and reload the page. You see that this thing should work as we're expecting it to be. What is time? Yeah, extra time has been added. So we're going to fix this one later on, this thing that is here. So now put your name. So first, like this, so you can see, but there's something that is wrong here. So something is wrong there. I type only one name, it accepts it. Why did he accept? So we can check that one in a next class there because I did not check the length again. I'm supposed to check the length too. Let me add that one to the list. Supposed to check the length. So what I can just do here is to move this thing. I'm supposed to check the length. I did not check the length again. That's why it is not. So what I will do first is cost splitted data is to be this. Then cut out this one because I need this value. I need it again. So what we need to do, what's wrong with this VS Code? So cut out this one. What I need to do is return splitted It should be 1T. So splitted data, splitted data dot length equals to 2, and what did I type? So look at it here. The other one now, the first one, the length, hey, the length must not be 0. So what we are doing is first, when we split the stuff, first of all, the length must be 2. And when the length is 2, then every of the set that is there, it must match this thing. But that's what the first one here, this one is not match because we not check the length again. The length is now 1. So we may not check anything like length. So that one it will accept it. But we don't want it. We want the length to be checked too. And at the same time, whatever that is inside it, it's matching what we are expecting. As you can see now, it will not accept it again. Because it's only one length that is there. But now if there is two lengths, it will not accept it two again. Because the second one will not type anything. If you type something too, it will still not accept because the second one is not up to 3. So once this one up to 3, it will accept. Again, when you now type number, it will reject because we've added this regular expression. You see now, instead of me doing a lot of if, else, check, or do all those things, with regular expression with just one line. But the problem with this one is that you need to understand what this thing is saying. So what it's saying is that each length or each value that is inside that your array are there. It must start with letter with a minimum of 3 characters, but it can be more than 3. No, I don't care about how long is your name, but the minimum should be 3. And again, too, whatever you must type there must not be number. You can't have number. And that's why we have this A to Z or this capital A to Z. So which means here I can actually type uppercase. That's why it's accepting it. If that one is not there, it will not accept it. If I do not put that capital A to Z there, it will not accept. So but we want them to be able to type any of these things. I don't care the way you type your name, but whatever name you are typing, we just want to have it. So here now we have so first we have name and it will accept. So the same thing with card number too, we've dealt with that one. So it accept. But now if you put more than that, it will not. If you put this in like that. And again, to that method we use for here, we can actually use regular expression to solve it too. I just telling that we only need number, but it's going to be 16 in length. So which means this one that we did here now, I can actually replace it with regular expression. Where is it? So what I did here, which is this refine that I'm using this boolean now. So what I can just do is remove this. So create regular expression by it must start like this, which is going to be slash d. That's the number, like that. What is not, and this one doesn't care whether it's string. It's checking the string directly. You don't need to start converting to number. It will do it because regular expression doesn't care whether you are typing number. It will check from the string whether that thing is number or is not number. So here now to be 16 like this and test. What is this one doing? So test, which should give us the same thing we are expecting there. Which bracket did I not close? Start, end. So this thing is telling me that I've not closed one bracket. So which bracket? This one is closed. This one is closed. This one is closed. Refine. One bracket is missing. It's complaining about this. Okay. Yeah. So save. See how simple it is, but regular expression is something you need to know, and that's why I don't want to use it before. But now that I've explained part of the basic regular expression, so that's why I'm changing this. So here now, if you type, it will not accept because we are looking for digits. And again, too, it must be 16 because of what? Now, when you put it in a bracket, that's the max and min. But if you want, you can use min and max in the stuff, and it will work. So regular expression simplifies some check you want to do, but you need to understand that language on its own first. So in the next class tomorrow, we work on all this one. And but before we get here, everything we are typing that we type here, we want to see it inside this place. So everything we type here, we want to see it here first, so that we can now add all the other one too. We want to see this first name and last name appear here. As I type in here, We want to be seeing it at this place. So we're going to handle that one because time has gone. So this is